Hey there, my beautiful fiery Aries souls, and welcome back to Astrology Unlocked. Gather close for a moment. Take a deep, intentional breath with me. I want you to tune into your own magnificent energy field, that vibrant aura that surrounds you. Can you feel that? That subtle but persistent tug, almost like a psychic knock at the door of your spirit? It's not just your imagination, and it's certainly not a random flicker of anxiety. It is real. Right now, in this very moment, someone is thinking of you with an intensity that is rippling across the energetic veil and reaching you right where you are. Someone woke up this morning with your name on their lips and your face etched into their mind's eye. Someone has picked up their phone, typed out a message, and stared at your name, their thumb hovering over the send button, paralyzed by a mixture of regret and a desperate burning hope. They are rehearsing speeches in their car, practicing words in the mirror, trying to find the perfect combination of syllables to unlock a door they themselves closed. This person is desperate, my dear Aries, truly desperate to find their way back into the warmth of your world. And here is the most electrifying part of this cosmic truth. You already know exactly who it is. Their name just flashed through your mind like a lightning strike, didn't it? Now, before we dive deeper into this powerful cosmic current, I want to connect with you. If this message is already resonating deep within your warrior spirit, do me a small favor and gently tap that like button. It truly helps us continue to create this sacred space for you. And if you haven't already, I invite you to subscribe and become a part of our incredible Astrology Unlocked tribe, so you never miss these divine downloads tailored just for your journey. We are in this together. And to truly anchor this energy, let me know you're here and ready to stand in your power by typing in the comments below. My fire is my own. Let's begin this beautiful exploration together. There is something profound that this person, in their frantic state of longing, has not yet been able to comprehend. It's a truth that you feel in your bones, a shift you've sensed in your very soul, but one they will only discover when they finally stand before you, and it is far, far too late. The door they so casually walked out of, believing it would always remain open for them, has not just been closed. Oh no, my beautiful Aries. You, in your magnificent rebirth, have sealed it, fortified it, and dissolved the very key in the fires of your own transformation. This wasn't an act born of anger, nor was it a calculated move for revenge. That is not the way of the evolved Aries spirit. When an Aries truly completes a cycle, it is a declaration of forward momentum. It's a sacred burning of the bridge to the past, not to watch the other side suffer, but to illuminate the path ahead with the brilliant light of your own liberated spirit. That entire chapter of your life has been honored for its lessons and then lovingly, definitively placed into the archives of your soul's history. And now this person is beginning to feel the chill. They are sensing that the landscape has irrevocably changed. They are feeling the seismic shift in your energetic signature. You are not the person you were when they left. The balance of power has not just shifted, it has been completely reclaimed by its rightful owner, you. And this, my friends, is driving them to the edge of madness, because for the very first time, they are being forced to gaze into the abyss of their own creation. For the first time, they are truly comprehending the magnitude of the light they lost, the void that was left not by your departure, but by their own short-sighted choice to step away from your sun. And so they want to come back. They crave you. They yearn for that version of you that burned so brightly for them. The one who cared, who fought, who believed. But they can wait, my dear Aries, because that version of you no longer exists. She was the kindling for the magnificent bonfire that you have become. Can you feel that energy swirling around you, that strange, almost palpable tension, as if someone's thoughts are so intensely focused on you that they are creating a physical sensation? It's no wonder you may have been feeling a little restless lately. It's no wonder you might be waking up in the middle of the night with a jolt, your heart pounding with an unnamed urgency. It is no wonder that seemingly out of nowhere, memories of this person, both the good and the painful, have been bubbling up to the surface of your consciousness. This is not a coincidence, my magnificent Aries. This is the universe sending you a divine heads up. It's a cosmic flare, warning you that they are on their way back, or at the very least, they are about to launch a campaign to try. And you, as the brilliant spiritual warrior you are, need to be prepared. You need to be centered in your truth and anchored in your hard-won peace. Because let me share this with you with all the love in my heart. That person will make an appearance. It could be tomorrow. It could be next week. It could be in a few days. But they will arrive. And when they do, they will come armed with a beautifully rehearsed monologue, with a portfolio of well-crafted excuses, and with a sky full of promises about a changed heart. They will wield the one weapon they know has always been your kryptonite, that look of soulful regret you know so well, that look that used to melt the armor right off your warrior heart, the look that in the past made you question your own resolve and consider giving them one more chance, the look that could make you forget just for a moment the profound ache they left in their wake. They will use every piece of insider knowledge they have about you, every secret vulnerability you once shared, to try and win you back. And the great cosmic question remains, will you allow it? Now I want you to pause everything for a moment and really absorb this next part, because this is the stark, unfiltered truth that your friends might be too gentle to tell you. This person has not undergone a miraculous transformation. They didn't have a soul-shattering epiphany on a mountaintop. They haven't spent months in deep meditation healing their shadow self. What happened was far simpler, and yes, far more rooted in ego. They finally, truly, viscerally realized that you were gone. They realized that the flame of your attention was no longer burning for them, that you were no longer waiting by the phone, no longer emotionally available for their sporadic returns. And this realization struck their ego like a thunderbolt, in a way they simply cannot bear. Because you see, my dear Aries, for this person, you weren't just a partner they loved. You were a certainty. You were the lighthouse they knew would always be shining a fixed point in their chaotic universe, always waiting, always willing to forgive their wanderings. And now that certainty has vanished. Now that you have truly turned your magnificent spirit toward your own destiny, they have been plunged into a panic, because suddenly they see that the rules of the game have changed, that the entire board has been redesigned, and that you are now and forevermore the master of your own fate. And people who operate from a place of ego and insecurity cannot stand to lose that sense of control. They cannot bear to witness the person they took for granted not just surviving, but thriving, glowing, and becoming even more radiant without them. So they come back, not from a place of pure, unconditional love, but from a desperate primal need to reclaim what they still, on some level, believe is theirs. Take a moment, Aries. Journey back with me. Do you remember when you cried over this person? Do you remember the sleepless nights, staring at the ceiling, wondering what you did wrong? Do you recall the messages you poured your heart into only to see them left on read for hours or even days? The times you begged for the bare minimum, for attention, for presence, for reciprocity, and were handed mere crumbs from the feast you so generously provided, do you remember feeling small? Feeling like you had to constantly audition for a role you were already perfect for, the role of being chosen, my brave Aries? Do you remember the distinct ache this person caused you? Because I assure you, they don't. Or more likely, they have chosen to forget. Or most dangerously, they believe that you have forgotten. But an Aries never truly forgets a slight to their spirit. That is the truth so few understand about your magnificent nature. You are not resentful out of malice. You simply possess a fiery spiritual memory that functions like an indelible brand upon your soul. Every dismissive word, every broken promise, every time you are made to feel like a second choice or an afterthought, it's all been recorded. And when you finally chose to seal that door, it was not an impulsive, fiery outburst. It was a conscious, deliberate decision made after you mentally revisited each and every one of those painful moments and declared, with the full force of your being, I am worthy of so much more than this. Do you still carry the ghosts of those moments? Or have you transformed them into the wisdom that now guides you? This is what that person fails to grasp. You are not running away from them. You have simply evolved to a plane of existence where their energy can no longer reach you. You have grown. You have transformed. You have undergone such a profound process of spiritual alchemy that the person they once knew has literally been reborn from the ashes. That Aries, the one who would accept less than they deserved just to feel the warmth of any fire, is gone. And in their place, a new being has been born. Someone who knows their worth down to the marrow of their bones. Someone who no longer settles for crumbs when they know they deserve the entire banquet. Someone who would rather walk a glorious path alone than accept a half-hearted, conditional love. So when that person inevitably appears with their well-rehearsed lines, I've changed. I finally realize what I lost. You're the most important person to me. What will you do? Are you going to fall back into the old story? Are you going to give them another chance to prove they are still the same? Are you going to unlock that door that cost you so much suffering to close? Or, my dear Aries, are you going to look them squarely in the eye with a calm and peaceful fire in your own and tell them the most liberating truth you could possibly utter? You're too late. I am no longer waiting for you. There is an immeasurable strength in that statement, Aries. A power you may not even fully comprehend yet. Because the most difficult spiritual work in the world isn't forgiving someone who hurt you. It is accepting that forgiveness does not and should not mean reunion. It's understanding that you can genuinely wish that person well, hope they find peace, and still choose to continue on your own sacred path, far, far away from them. It's about having peace with your past, without feeling any compulsion to recreate it in your present. And that, my friends, is spiritual sovereignty at its most beautiful and powerful. Now let me paint a picture for you of how this is likely to unfold, because preparation is a key element of your power. This person will not approach you randomly. They will appear strategically. They are already in a state of reconnaissance. They are observing your social media, trying to piece together the narrative of your new life. They are trying to understand how you are who you are with what you have been doing. They are searching for a crack in your armor, a moment of perceived weakness, a nostalgic post, a sign that maybe, just maybe, a part of you still holds a flicker of hope for them. And when they identify what they believe is that moment, they will make their move. It will likely begin with a seemingly innocent message. Hey, how have you been? I was just thinking about you. Or, I saw something today that reminded me of our time together. These are not simple phrases. They are calculated emotional bait. They are testing the waters. They are checking to see if you will still respond, if you still care, if there is a small ember of your past affection that they can fan back into a flame. And what happens if you do respond? What if you take the bait? Then they will intensify their efforts. They will begin to reminisce, to speak only of the good memories, the laughter, the beautiful moments you shared. They will become a master storyteller, weaving a tapestry of your past, where every thread is golden, conveniently forgetting the threads that were frayed, stained with tears, or broken entirely. They will paint a false, romanticized picture where everything was perfect, and it was just one silly mistake that tore you apart. And if you are not careful, if you are not deeply anchored in your truth, you might just find yourself starting to believe this beautifully crafted, fictional version of your story. But here is the unshakable reality that you must hold on to. People do not fundamentally change overnight. They do not undergo profound spiritual transformations simply because they are faced with a loss. True lasting change requires immense effort, deep self-reflection, often therapy, and a painful, consistent confrontation with one's own shadows. And this person who is so desperate to return to you has not done that work. They have only felt the sting of your absence. And feeling a loss is not the same as learning a lesson. It is simply feeling the void of a comfort they had and foolishly took for granted. Do you truly believe their desperation is a sign of evolved love, or is it the fear of losing their grip on you forever? Aries, you have spent so much of your precious life force-giving chances, believing in the potential of others instead of looking at their present reality. You have waited for people to become the person they promised they could be, instead of accepting the person they showed you they were time and time again. And where did that path lead you? It led you to nights filled with pain, to days riddled with anxiety, to that gnawing, constant feeling of not being enough, of having to do more, be more, give more, just to deserve the basics, respect, presence, and authentic love. And now that you have finally heroically broken free from that exhausting cycle, now that you have understood that the problem was never ever you, are you truly considering going back? Are you willing to trade the profound peace you have fought so hard to build for the mere possibility of more chaos and pain? Because that is precisely what is at stake here. This is not about giving love another chance. This is a choice between your sacred peace and the familiar addictive chaos that this person represents. There is a beautiful cosmic law that comes into play when an Aries definitively closes a door to the past. The universe, in response, opens 10 new doors to the future. That isn't a cliché, my friends. It is spiritual physics. When you cease pouring your magnificent fiery energy into a connection that no longer serves your highest good, that energy is reclaimed. It becomes available to you, and it acts as a powerful magnet, attracting people, opportunities, and experiences that are in true alignment with who you have become. Just look at your life since you distanced yourself from that person. Take an honest inventory. Aren't you happier? Don't you feel lighter? Are you sleeping better? Are you smiling more genuinely? Hasn't your life, your career, your sense of self improved in countless measurable ways without their presence? So why, in the name of all that is sacred, would you even consider going back? Is it nostalgia? A fear of being alone? Is it that treacherous little part of you that still whispers, "No one else will love you the way they did"? Aries, my beautiful soul, it is time to awaken fully. That wasn't true love. Love does not leave you in a perpetual state of doubt. Love doesn't make you cry more than you smile. Love doesn't require you to shrink yourself, to dim your own brilliant light in order to fit into someone else's small world. Love does not hurt like that. What you had did have a name. It was emotional dependency disguised as fiery passion. And any dependency, any addiction has one defining characteristic: it always tries to come back. The user always returns to the source. They may try to stay away, they may even succeed for a while. But eventually, their deep-seated need to feel, that sense of control, to be certain that you are still there available, waiting on the sidelines, that need will scream louder than their pride, and they will come back. Exactly as they are coming back now. But here is the monumental thing that has changed. You are no longer addicted to them. You have been through the detox. You discovered you can live without their presence. And more than that, you discovered you live better without it. You realized that their absence wasn't a loss, it was a liberation. And this truth, this sacred knowledge, is the shield that will protect you when they finally appear at your gates, because they will show up looking their best, wearing that cologne you used to love, armed with that disarming smile and a pocketful of dazzling promises. They will use every weapon in their arsenal. They will appeal to your shared history, trying to make you remember only the golden moments. They might even cry. They will likely say they have never loved anyone the way they loved you, that they made the biggest mistake of their life, that they didn't know what they had until it was gone. And here's a complex truth: all of that might even be true from their perspective. They might be sincere in their regret. They might genuinely have realized the value of what you shared. But you know what, my dear Aries? It no longer matters, because the core issue is not whether they have changed. The fundamental truth is that you have changed, and the person you are today is no longer a vibrational match for the person they are, or even the person they are trying to be. It's as simple as that. You have evolved to a level of emotional intelligence and self-respect where you no longer accept certain behaviors, where your standards are non-negotiable, and they, for the most part, are still operating from the same old playbook with the same patterns and the same ego-driven needs. For you to try and fit back into that old dynamic would be like trying to force a mighty oak tree back into the tiny seed from which it grew. It no longer fits, and there is no reason it should. Now, I know there's a part of you, the curious warrior, that wants to know what they'll say. A part of you that is, let's be honest, a little flattered by their desperation. There is a certain quiet satisfaction in knowing that the person who once dismissed you is now scrambling to get back into your good graces. There is a pleasure in seeing the tables turn, in realizing that the power is now firmly in your hands. But Aries, I implore you, do not let that fleeting stroke to your ego distract you from what is truly right for your soul. Do not let the satisfaction of seeing them squirm make you forget how much you suffered. Because if you open that door even a crack, just to prove a point, just to show that you are now the one who decides, you will inevitably end up trapped in their game again. Ego is a terrible advisor, and relationships based on power dynamics are toxic, no matter who holds the upper hand. True power isn't in taking them back to prove that you can. True power is in refusing to engage because you know without a shadow of a doubt that you deserve better. It's in looking at that person and feeling nothing. No anger, no desire for revenge, no lingering affection, just a peaceful neutrality, a quiet, definitive, thank you for the lessons, but no thank you. And when you reach that place, and I can feel that you are so close, they will see it. They will look into your eyes, and they won't see the person they lost. They will see a universe they can no longer enter. They will see that there is no longer an emotional hook they can cling to, no more room in your vibrant life for their chaotic energy. They will finally understand that the version of you that loved them is gone, and she is not coming back. Are you ready to witness that moment of dawning realization in their eyes, the moment they finally understand that they have lost you forever? Because what happens next is also predictable. They will likely try even harder for a short period. Their efforts will intensify. They might make public displays, show up at places they know you frequent, or try to use mutual friends as intermediaries. They will do everything in their power to breach your walls, and every failed attempt will only make them more desperate and, in turn, make your decision feel even more right. Because a person who has truly changed, who genuinely loves and respects you, does not relentlessly pursue you when you have made it clear you need space. A person who respects you accepts your decision even if it hurts them. A person who is genuinely sorry gives you the gift of time and space. They don't bombard you with messages demanding your attention. Their desperation is not a sign of love, my friends. It is a sign of panic. It's the fear of losing control. It is an inability to cope with rejection. It is everything but the mature, stable, respectful love that you now demand and deserve. And deep down, you know this. You have always known. You just needed to hear it affirmed. So here is the final liberating truth that will set you free for good. You owe this person nothing. You do not owe them a second chance. You do not owe them a lengthy explanation. You don't even owe them a response. You have the sovereign right to simply not reply. You can leave their messages unanswered. You can block their number if it brings you peace. You can, and you will move on with your life as if they are a distant memory. There is nothing cruel about this, because, my dear Aries, you already gave everything you had to give to that relationship. You waited long enough. You forgave more than was healthy. You believed in potential when reality was screaming at you. You have already done your part, and now it is time for you to do something truly revolutionary. It is time for you to choose yourself, choose your peace, choose your evolution. Choose the people who choose you back every single day without drama, without games, and without needing to experience the trauma of your loss just to appreciate your presence. And when that person finally accepts that it's too late, when they realize you are truly not coming back, they will eventually move on. They will find someone else. And chances are, they will repeat the very same patterns, because people who do not do the deep inner work don't change. They might put on a good show for a few months, but eventually the core patterns return, and you, being far away on your own brilliant path, will be spared from having to watch that same painful movie all over again. Meanwhile, you will be building something new, something solid, something worthy of you, whether it is with a new partner or in a sacred partnership with yourself. You will be investing your precious energy in healthy reciprocal relationships, in people who see your fire and are not intimidated by it, but are inspired. You will be living a life where you never have to question your worth, where you don't have to compete for attention, where you are a priority, not an option. And in a few months, when you look back and remember this very moment, you will be filled with a profound sense of gratitude. You will be grateful that you were strong enough to keep that door sealed. You will be grateful that you honored your own healing more than you honored someone else's belated regret. You will be grateful that you chose yourself when it would have been so much easier to fall back into the familiar. Aries, this person is desperate to come back, but it's not because you are an amazing, irreplaceable soul. It is because they have lost control. And when they finally knock on your door, literally or metaphorically, you will be able to take a deep breath, look at all the beauty you have built since they left, feel the unshakable peace you have finally found, and simply leave the door locked. Because some doors were never meant to be reopened. They were meant to stand as monuments to all that you have overcome. And when you make that final, definitive choice, when you say no for the last time, something truly magical will happen. You will feel a sense of freedom so vast and so profound, it will bring tears to your eyes. Free from the past, free from the temptation of going back, free to finally, fully, and gloriously live the future you so richly deserve. And that person, they will be left to learn the hardest lesson of their life, that some people, when you lose them forever. And you, my magnificent Aries, are one of those people, because an Aries doesn't go back. An Aries is reborn, and the person you are now has no room for that past. You only have room for the future, a future without them. And for the first time, the thought doesn't hurt, it liberates. The only question that remains now is this: are you ready to close this cycle once and for all, and never ever look back? Thank you for sharing your energy with me today, my beautiful Aries friends. Your journey of rebirth is an inspiration. Please share your thoughts and feelings in the comments below. I love connecting with you all. Until next time, keep your sacred fire burning brightly for you.